I'm a Gito, she know, he know, the streets know I get 'em by the kilo, Nino, if you need those, holler on the dealer. I'm a Gito, she know, he know, the streets know I get 'em by the kilo, Nino, if you need those, holler on the dealer.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Poolside Chats. I have this lovely young lady. Introduce yourself.
Krystal?
Krystal. She's very shy. I did convince her to get on the show, but we about to start drinking. You know what I'm saying?
I'll open up then.
So we'll definitely get her to open up a little bit. But the reason why I wanted to have Krystal on, as you can see, she has on the Darth Vader Star Wars scrubs.
Yes.
Because she's a nurse in the mental health field, and then I'm gonna let you describe it because I feel like I'm gonna say it wrong. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna pour shots.
Okay, pour shots. I'm a psych nurse, and that means I work mental health / behavioral health and substance abuse. Been in the field 20 years, but I've been licensed 18 years.
And what kind of things do you come across on a daily basis? What's a typical day at work for you?
Oh my goodness! Right now I work substance abuse. Work at a drug rehab in Beverly Hills. So a typical day for me is going to see several different types of addictions, and we do also treat co-occurring disorders as well. So I'm going to see a little mental health in there as well. In fact, I have a severely
The wind is trying to hate. Here, I'll take those. So that,
okay.
Bam. And we'll take a shot to knowing your mental health and taking your mental health seriously. Ooh.
All right, that was nice. That was nice.
It's smoother than you would think.
Yes. Anyway, so I have a mental health case who really isn't a substance abuse case at all.
Get you a little cup. A little something. I'm listening to you.
And he's, in my professional opinion, not appropriate for my facility, but he's there anyway. And so we got to deal with him.
And what's the reason it's not appropriate?
Because where I'm at, we treat substance abuse primary, mental health, secondary. He has primary mental health.
Got you.
So he may self-medicate with, drugs and alcohol, but his is more of a mental health issue. Clearly, classic bipolar, maybe even schizoaffective, may have a little bit of schizophrenia in there.
The wind is just turning up. But that's cool, though. We're not going to let the wind affect us. I'll get that shit later. But so your facility is more for substance abuse. Okay. What type of substances are common?
Ooh, heroin.
Heroin. Okay.
Primary heroin, benzodiazepines, marijuana, even alcohol, all of those.
Really?
Yeah.
As we sit here and sip alcohol, and I'm sipping coffee too. And we all know coffee is a serious drug. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Nobody wants to talk about caffeine and nicotine, but that's in there. And it's funny you say that because coffee is and nicotine are huge substitutes. So when you're coming off of drugs and alcohol, coffee and nicotine,
right?
Smoke break, coffee break, they gotta have it,
right? Yeah, people people think that just because something is legal that it's okay,
right?
But that's not true. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not, because prescription pills are legal and pushed, and they're the worst.
Right.
Absolute worst. You would do better being on crack than you would be on benzodiazepines.
And like you were talking about, heroin, it's something that you see a lot of. And what are some of the prescription pills that are so-called legal that are basically just heroin?
Fentanyl, Suboxone, which is a strip, Subutex. We have people that have been on that for years, and that's like synthetic heroin. It's used to get people off.
What are these things prescribed for?
Fentanyl is prescribed for pain. Mm-hmm. Suboxone actually can be prescribed for pain too. Suboxone, Subutex. And they're mainly used, though, to get people to taper them off of heroin to make their withdrawals a little bit easier. But I see people come in for Suboxone maintenance. I've been on subs for 2-3 years. I want to get off. I need help getting off.
Gotcha.
So it's widely abused.
That's crazy.
It's beyond crazy.
So how often in your 20 years of experience do you see someone that is struggling with one particular addiction, they're prescribed something for that addiction, and then that prescription becomes their new addiction?
All the time. Mm-hmm. Usually I see a lot of young, and I'm going to say anywhere from 18 to 30, people come in, and what's happened 9 times out of 10, I know their story before they even sit down and talk to me. They get prescribed some type of pain medication for an injury, sports injury, football, baseball, basketball, skiing, hockey, doesn't matter.
Right.
They're on that. They get hooked on it because we're loading kids up on opiates for whatever reason.
Right.
They get hooked on it. They can't get it anymore. They move to heroin. It's cheaper and easier to get than the pills. But they get addicted to the Percocet and the Norcos and the fentanyl and the Oxy. Oxy is huge.
Right.
And it's like, why are we giving these kids this? And I know it happens firsthand. My son had a minor outpatient surgery. They gave me a big-ass bottle, which I still have, of liquid Oxy for him.
Are you serious?
And I was like, he doesn't need this. I gave him Tylenol.
Right.
He was fine. My other son went to the ER. He had strep. They wanted to put him on a morphine drip for a sore throat. And I was like, he doesn't need morphine for a sore throat.
For a sore throat?
Sore throat. And he said he had a stomach ache, which was probably bullshit knowing him. But they were like, we can start morphine. And I said, no, we're not doing that.
Like, what happened to Chloroseptic? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Pulse.
Right.
A couple antibiotics and he's going to be fine. You know, cold stuff to eat. But yeah, they wanted to give him morphine. And I was like, this is why these kids are ending up in rehab.
Right.
We're loading them up on opiates. And then just like, here you go.
Got you. And like, are there other like better methods to cope with your pain? Like if you're dealing with pain like that, where it's not going to like lead to other more addictive things? There's
pain management doctors who specialize in managing your pain without opiates, without hardcore medications. I used to work with a lady. They told her she would never live without pain meds, without Suboxone, hardcore pain meds, Oxy, and she went to rehab. She got off of them. She had a pain management doctor.
Got you. And
she has intermittent pain, but not, like that she needs to, medicate and be doped up for. She was on, she said, 8 to 10 different pills.
And the pain management, are these things that are still covered by your insurance, still things that like you can seek out?
You can seek out. They're covered by most insurance. People don't have insurance. People I know want to say Obamacare was a terrible thing, but it opened up for the recovery community. People were able to get help and go to rehab that hadn't been able to before.
Got you.
So use it. It's there. If you can avoid meds, avoid the pills.
And have you come across any situations where like someone was prescribed something? I know you spoke about it with your sons where you just knew like there's no reason for it, but like does this happen like on a daily basis, like where you come in and like they don't need this?
Daily basis.
Really? Daily
basis, where I see kids that have gotten these injuries and I'm like, okay, you did break your wrist skateboarding. You did break your leg. You did tear your ACL. Okay, it happens.
Right.
You didn't need to be put on Oxy for that. You didn't need to be put on fentanyl for that. Yes, you have pain, and it needed to be worked through. But those hardcore drugs, on such a young age, it's a terror. And the doctors are just prescribing it. And once they go through it, it's like, yeah, sure. You want some more? Here you go. I'm like, no.
I was seeing something online a while back. I can't remember the exact news site. It was something. It was one of the credible ones. It wasn't just like some random Donald Trump fake news. But I was reading something about how a lot of these doctors' offices get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies for prescribing their particular drug.
Absolutely. So I worked adolescent psych for about 8 years. And it was like a level 13 group home, which for anybody that doesn't know, that means you had to have failed at about 6 or 7 other places to be placed with us. Your parents couldn't just be like, take them.
Right.
We got kids from DCFS, probation, and Department of Mental Health. And this was like the last stop before you were shipped off to the big place in, I want to say, Utah, or, you went to the halls or something. So it was pretty heavy there.
Gotcha.
And the back end, it was a locked psych facility. And a lot of these kids, I hate to say that I was involved in this, we gave these meds to that were like, I remember giving kids Thorazine. Thorazine is, one flew over the cuckoo's nest, maybe?
Really?
Thorazine would be like so sedating, you drool, you get facial tics.
Right.
You got to give them medication for that. I remember giving kids liquid Thorazine. Every drug that came out, I remember when Risperdal first came out, I called the doctor and I was like, okay, so I have boys shooting breast milk at each other. Teenage boys shouldn't be lactating.
Right.
The fuck? He was like, okay, yeah, take them off.
Right.
So then years later, I see 1-800-BAD-DRUGS. Did you take, Risperdal and start lactating?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I saw that. Doctors were putting these kids on these heavy-ass sedating meds that they really didn't need to be on.
Right.
And that's part of the reason why I left. Because they were getting kickbacks for it.
And they're just lining their own pockets.
And every new med that came out, I noticed we were prescribing it. Risperdal was big, we're giving it. Then Abilify comes out, pushing Abilify. Then Lamictal comes out, we're pushing Lamictal. And I'm like, these kids don't need it. And now most of these kids, I'm friends with them on Facebook, they're fine.
Right.
They are just fine. They're married, they have children, they're leading productive lives. Mm-hmm. And these are kids that I thought would have to be in a psych facility for the rest of their lives. And it was all because of these meds we were giving them that they didn't need, but the doctors were getting paid.
I know. Like even when I was coming up, from what I understand, and like obviously we didn't know it then, but like the whole reason why ADHD was invented was in order to start prescribing pills for it. Like they had to because ADD that you couldn't prescribe pills for it or something like that.
Right.
And so ADHD was invented so that doctors could start prescribing pills to combat it, and they were getting kickbacks on this. Like they were...
Worst thing ever. ADHD. I wrote a paper on that one time, actually, about, it was called The War on Boys, because they put boys on it more often. So you have kids now who, newer generation, food isn't what it used to be.
Right.
They've cut recess times. They've increased class sizes. Boys and girls are different. They don't even learn the same. Boys actually need to move around.
Right.
You cannot expect a boy to sit, any child really, but mainly a boy, to sit for periods of time.
That's one thing I've never understood is like, how are you diagnosing a child with being hyper? Like, if a child's not hyper, something's wrong with it. Like, we're all, like, you know what I'm saying?
So you tell them, okay, you can only have this much amount of time to play. And even when my kids were growing up in elementary school, they couldn't even play tag. Because it was unsafe. I'm like, are you shitting me? It's tag. No Red Rover. Nothing like that because it was too unsafe. So you're restricting their movement. No Child Left Behind. You got to increase learning time. And there are tons of sugar. And then you want to say they have ADHD. And you want to put them on Ritalin.
Right.
And you want to put them on Adderall and Concerta and all these things that can fuck up their heart badly. And dope them up, and they didn't need to be doped up. There's nothing wrong with these boys that fresh air, good food, and sunshine wouldn't fix, and movement. They need to go out and play.
And especially like when we were coming up, like speaking of like feeding us things that are making us hyper, and like we're drinking Kool-Aid with a pound of sugar. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We eating like popsicles, ice. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have the knowledge of these things that we were putting in our bodies and like what they were, like the effect that they were having on us. We're all we drank Pepsi for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what was those cereals that would come on Saturday morning?
Oh my God. Like the most sugary, you know what I'm saying?
Sugar in a bowl.
Yeah, sugar in a bowl. You know what I'm saying? And like if the cereal wasn't already sugary enough, I was like, you gonna just pour a ton of more sugar on it.
More sugar in it.
And then you wonder why you hyper.
Right. But we played more.
Yeah, that's true.
Video games were just coming out, kind of.
Right.
So we went outside and we played more and we did, everything outside. You had to beat the shit out of us just to make us come in.
Right.
These kids don't go outside.
Right.
They don't play. Times have changed between video games and just the environment. Kids don't.
And
go
social media.
And social media.
You know what I'm saying?
They just sit. They're very stagnant, which contributes to their obesity. But all that sugar, all the processed food.
Right.
Kids just sitting in class at home. What do you expect? And then you're like, oh, here's a problem. I don't want to deal. It's mainly boys, which is why I said there's a war on boys. He's a problem. I don't want to deal with him. You need to put him on meds or he can't stay in this classroom.
Right.
And that's what parents hear. And I've seen so many kids put on meds that didn't need to be. And
I went through that.
Tragic.
Like I was diagnosed with ADHD as a child. I can't remember exactly how old I was. I got put on Ritalin, and my grandmother, she did it for about a week, and she said after a week she threw the pills away. Yeah. So she said she flushed them down the toilet. She said she saw this visible change where I just became this robot, where it was just, and she said she wasn't gonna go through it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's horrible. It's awful, and the long-term effects, it's a stimulant. Those are stimulant medications. Stimulants, it's basically meth, cocaine, but legal.
Oh, my goodness.
They have amphetamine. If you take those medications, you're going to test positive for amphetamines.
Right.
That's awful for your heart. So we're damaging these kids' hearts at such a young age. Why? Because doctors get kickbacks.
Got you.
Big pharma is something to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and it's crazy what like the FDA like decides to legalize, like find is good, and like some of the things that they don't. Like, because I saw a documentary on Netflix about so many things that the FDA didn't approve.
Right.
That was like there's way better, way more, like way more natural, like way less addictive.
Yeah.
That will be fine for us, but like we have all these other like Percocets and Adderall, like where we know that there are dangerous side effects to it, but we continue just to feed them to our children, mostly our children, more than anything.
Cures aren't profitable.
Right.
Sickness is profitable. Curing somebody and they're all better. They don't need to go to the doctor. They don't need to take pills. That's taking away money. Right. Everything is tied into economics. Even our, and it's sad that our health and our healthcare has to be tied into economics, but it is.
Got you.
And that's the long and short of it. Cures aren't profitable, and that's why so many things that are curable are cured.
That makes sense. Like, I think Chris Rock made that joke about 10, 15 years ago. He said, ain't no money in the cure. It's money in just treating it.
There's money in treating it. There's money in all these causes. We walk for cancer. We walk for all these things that I'm 99.9% sure can be cured.
Right, like a cure is out there somewhere, but like somebody's making more money off not curing it.
Keeping people sick. Right. And the fundraising and all that and going to research. All that's more profitable, far more profitable than treating people and actually curing what they have. Right. And that goes for physical and mental health.
Now, like, the transition into mental health a little bit, like, what are some of the dangers of not taking your mental health serious? Or, like, what are some of the dangers of having, like, a mental health issue that's not properly diagnosed and then you just feed pills to it instead of actually, like, trying to treat it the proper ways?
You either end up hooked on the pills, you develop some type of, like, immunity to pills, they stop working for you, and eventually the long term of it is you self-medicate. You end up drinking. You end up drinking, you end up doing drugs, you end up doing things that are bad for you to make yourself feel better, because they actually do make you feel better in the moment.
Got you.
They make you feel sane. You're not depressed. You're not anxious. You don't hear voices. You don't see things in the moment. It's cured you. So if you rather take something, and pills have side effects that suck. Lithium makes you gain a shit ton of weight.
Really?
Yeah, horrible. A lot of the pills just make you feel shitty. They make you feel bad. They make you gain weight. They make you like a robot, like you said. Right. Who wants to live like that? Right. I'd rather, I'd rather just drink and get high.
Right.
Than
you know
live
what I'm
like
saying?
that.
Right.
And that's what happens. And it's really, really sad.
And a lot of times, because we aren't given the proper coping methods, we seek out improper coping methods. We start drinking ourselves to
Yes.
cope with it, or we go out and party all the time, and we fall in love with the wrong people. You know what I'm saying?
Chronically fall in love with the wrong people.
You know what I'm saying? It'll be like, because we have no idea of how to properly deal with our mental health and like with traditional and with correct coping methods, we just go with whatever makes us feel good at the moment.
We have been taught that everything, there's a cure in a pill. Everything can be fixed with medication. And the things that can't be fixed with medication, oh, well, fuck it, we deal with it. But we've never, and I have to say this as a community, as a black community.
Oh, definitely with the black community. That's where it's really like an issue.
PTSD. We have cultural PTSD that's never been treated. We have individual PTSD and mental health that's not treated because we don't discuss mental health
at all.
And we just fuck it. We just let it go. We just do our thing. We are not taught coping skills.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
We have none.
We were talking about that before we started recording. Like we'll be children in high school, and like one of our friends that gets shot and murdered or stabbed or whatever, and we'll just go to school the next day and open our books to chapter 3.
Like nothing happened.
Like I don't understand why in schools, when a tragedy hits us like that, where somebody like that whole day should just be like dedicated to talking about it, like understand, what I'm saying, like understanding like what are our proper coping methods. Like first of all, like I don't even like some of if you're close to somebody and they get murdered, you shouldn't be just going on about your day like it's normal.
You shouldn't even. No, that's not normal. It is not normal to be a teenager, and to have lost people your age, like violently. You know, everybody knows accidents happen, tragedies happen, but it's not normal to just be like, oh yeah, you know, I'm 15 and like 4 or 5 of my friends have died in the last 5 months. That shit's not normal.
That's not normal. That's not. And I didn't know it wasn't normal until I was talking to a coworker of mine, same age, and like we were we were talking about my homeboy Bird, who recently a few years back he got murdered right before Christmas, like damn near in front of his family. You know what I'm saying?
That. Yeah.
And like we were talking about that, and like me and him were just having like a real like dope conversation, like a heart-to-heart conversation about like so many of my like childhood friends is not here. And he asked me, he said like a lot, you know, like is this like? And I told him, I said I can name you right off the top of my head at least 20. And he said I can't name one.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And obviously he's a white man. You know what I'm saying? Same age, but like we just have drastically different ways that we came up. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And it's funny, like I got a couple of comments from the live, like my homeboy Brainstorm, that was my homie. I said, you know, got the podcast in Cleveland. Hey. She's talking about moving to Cleveland, by the way.
Moved to Cleveland.
You know
it's cold. I don't know.
But he said, I agree. Sickness is profitable. That's why we ultimately will never have a single pay system in our country. Too many people are making money off of healthcare.
Absolutely. And
my homegirl Shanti, love you, Shanti, was good. She said she deals with mental health. She self-medicates, but in the wrong way because the pills don't help.
Right.
So she needs to find and she said she had no idea that like so many of these different things that you were naming were in these different pills. You know what I'm saying? Like you just got to do research on your own, and that's true. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely true because just because a doctor prescribes it to you doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. You know what I'm saying?
Because I noticed when I worked adolescent psych, I noticed something. So, a kid that's in DCFS, Department of Children and Family Services. This is how sick it is. No matter how fucked up your family is, that's still your family.
True. Yeah.
When you remove a child from their family, naturally, they are going to be upset because even if that family is toxic and terrible and horrible, that's still what they know. That's still their people. That's you don't
know your family fucked up when you you know what I'm saying. That's all you know. You don't realize your family fucked up till you go to your friend's house and their family is just so normal. Like what the fuck? You know? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You have no idea, and you take a kid out of this environment, they're going to be sad, absolutely, and they're young children. They're still children. They're young, so then they're depressed and they're sad and they're crying, and someone comes to them, a doctor, and says, "I see that you're upset. I can give you something to make you feel better. Would you like that?" They don't know any better. They just know they want to feel good again. They want to be happy again. They say yes. So you put them on this psych med, but it has all these side effects. So then now, you put them on this, and it causes depression. So now you got to give them an antidepressant, and now that's causing. You
got to take a pill for the pill.
For the pill.
You know what I'm saying?
Tardive dyskinesia, which is like I said, is a facial tic shuffling. You got them a pill for that. I can't sleep at night because you have me on Ritalin and amphetamines. So now I got to give you trazodone or Benadryl or something for sleep, and pretty soon you're on 4, 5, 6 different medications. Why? Because you're sad because you got taken from your family? That's natural. You could have just done some therapy with that child and helped them work through it. And that would have been it.
And like for me, and I've seen a couple of different therapists now. For me, I've realized that the best therapy, and for me personally, I don't know if this is true for everybody, but it's just to like sit around and talk to other people just going through the same shit.
Yes.
Like I don't need a professional in the room. I just need 3 or 4 other motherfuckers that's going through the same shit I'm going through, and I realize I'm not alone.
Yes.
I realize I'm not weird for feeling how I feel because like we were talking about, like especially in the black community, you feel like it's a weakness to be affected by shit. Like just because something affects you, it comes across as a weakness. It comes across as like, you know what I'm saying, like you need to man up. So you be skeptical to talk about it because nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it.
But as soon as somebody starts talking about it, oh shit, I feel the same way. You know what I mean?
But nobody wants to talk about it.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
We have been conditioned to, one, quote unquote, we're not going to talk about our problems with white people. Don't talk about shit that goes on in my house. You know? Okay,
Right.
but the shit going on in your house is horrible.
It's horrible.
We need to talk about this.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
bad. You're fucked up. Dad's fucked up. We're fucked up.
We're all fucked up.
We're all fucked up. We're
Auntie's
generationally
fucked up.
Yeah.
Uncle is fucked up.
The
all the
molested
brothers
uncle in the back room
right.
is fucked up.
Like, we need to talk about this
we
shit.
should talk about this, but we've been conditioned. We don't talk about this.
Right.
We don't talk. You don't put the family business out there.
Right.
So then you clam up and you're just holding all these things inside that shouldn't be held inside. And that's, one thing I have to say, the recovery community has gotten right. Group therapy.
Group
meetings.
therapy is dope.
People
Seriously.
go to meetings and meetings, do wonders for people, a lot of people, because you can, stand up if you're so inclined and say, this is how the fuck I feel.
Right.
This is what happened this week.
No judgment.
I feel like doing this, that, and the other. And there's a group of people who understand what you're going through. No judgment. It's
Right.
anonymous. And you can get it out. Individual therapy is awesome too. But people do need therapy. As a culture, we need therapy.
Yeah.
Over 400 years of PTSD.
Oh, without question.
How crazy is that?
Without question.
We haven't talked about anything ever.
Right.
And
David Banner said some real ass shit. He said black people have not been out of slavery longer than we were in slavery, and y'all expect us to just bounce back and act like that shit didn't happen.
We good.
You know what I'm saying? Like we have not been out of slavery longer than we've been in slavery, and we're still feeling the effects of that institutionalized racism.
Yes.
We still are living with modern day slavery now because like the jail system is literally slavery. Like it's actually in the amendment. It's written into the amendment.
It was never abolished.
That mass incarceration is the new slavery.
And we were taught in school, slavery was abolished in 1865. No, the fuck it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It's written there if you read it.
Right.
Unless it's involuntary servitude, jail.
Yeah.
It's still there. And I saw a show where it was like heartbreaking. There was a man, he was an older black man. I want to say Florida or something, but basically up until the early 60s, they didn't know that slavery had been abolished.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. It was on Vice.
Wow.
The guy was interviewing him. He said because where we lived, it was kind of isolated. We worked.
Right.
White people owned the land. You were not allowed to leave. If you left and they caught you, they brought you back. 9 times out of 10, they killed you in front of everyone so they could make an example out of you. It's not like we had phones. It's not like we got mail.
Wasn't no internet,
How the hell? And then you start thinking, okay, for places that were way out, how did they know slavery was abolished?
Right.
If nobody ever came and told you were free.
If I'm saying, if one dude got a letter in the mail, it was like, man, fuck this. Ripped
your mail up. How did you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And he said it was the early 60s, and the guy interviewing him was flabbergasted. He was like, did you know about the civil rights movement? Did you know about it? He was like, no, we had no idea about that. We just know we lived on this land, we worked this land, we were born here, we died here.
Damn, that's crazy. And it's crazy because, like, I had a young lady on this. Like, she's a black woman from Alabama. She's a business owner, got mad different businesses going on right now. She just opened up a dispensary. And she was saying, like, growing up in the 1980s, like, she still had segregated stores. Like she got yelled at for walking into the front door, like, not coming in the back door. Like, and this is in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? In rural Alabama. So, like, I can believe it.
There's places to this day that still have segregated proms.
That's crazy.
Crazy places. Louisiana.
And then, like, and you'll have people that act like racism doesn't exist. They'll act like black people need to get over slavery. It was so long ago. But then you hear a story like this where, like, really wasn't that long ago. It was still 30 years ago. We still, like...
We were still slaves,
right.
basically. And we still are, like...
And even today, we're still slaves. You know what I'm saying? Because the black and brown community are like, targeted so much more. You know, so much more. And then, like, it kills me when, like, people try to, like, bring up these numbers of, oh, blacks are committing this amount of crime or committing this amount of whatever. It's like, do you understand the conditions that you put us in? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no way that you can speak about it if you don't really know about it. Like you're commenting on your perspective from your white household.
From your privilege.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, to you, it don't feel right. But to us...
case in point, crazy. So, like I said, my rehab is in Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
I do get high-profile people from time to time.
Right.
I had a pretty high profile athlete, football player, and he was there, and we can talk us,
right?
And his life growing up, and it was in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy shit, the amount of racism he experienced was crazy, to the point where I guess when he was little, some kids threw spaghetti on him, noodles, stuffed it down his pants, all over him. He is now a grown man, professional football player in the NFL, will not noodles, spaghetti, anything is being served, he goes to his room.
Right.
How crazy is that? And I had other kids there who were there on mommy and daddy's money. Tell him, like, well, damn, I'm jealous that you have that clothing-wise or shoes-wise. Like, damn, bro, how you get that? He was like, I worked for it.
Right, exactly.
He was like, that shit ain't fair.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's not?
That just shows you how necessary, like, if you don't identify a particular issue, a particular problem, and like address it, like it'll be with you forever. Forever.
And a lot of people, myself included, and this is the wrong, skewed view, and I understand that. I can own my shit. It's one thing I've learned. A lot of people equate therapy, especially when they're older, to, okay, you know how when you break a bone, if you don't get that bone set correctly, it's going to heal fucked up. And for us as a people, we have healed in a fashion, but we've healed fucked up. And therapy is akin to going back to the hospital and having them re-break your bone so that they can reset it in the proper manner. When you go to therapy, you're going to have to re-break yourself.
Right.
You're going to have to open some doors that you closed and that you didn't want to open again. And let some things out that you have suppressed, and talk about some things that you swore you would never talk about again.
Right.
But it's necessary, because you can't heal properly unless you're set properly. And we've all healed fucked up. Right. And we got to go get reset.
It's really crazy you say that, because I don't know if you ever noticed a scar on my hand or not. The reason I got this scar, like you see the way my knuckles, like you see how my knuckle protrudes out and it doesn't do it over here. The reason why I got this scar is I broke my hand as being young and stupid. But but like on some hood shit, like I broke my hand and I just put some ice on it, like you know what I'm saying?
Put some Robitussin on it.
I put some ice on it. I ain't know no better. Like,
right.
And then like. It wasn't until it was a couple weeks later I had this big ass bump, and like it wasn't going down. Like I thought it was just swelling, but what had happened is like my bone had like came up this direction, and like it was now starting to heal in the wrong. And my grandmother didn't want me to have a deformed hand. She took me to so I finally went to the doctor, and the doctor said like, yo, like it was broke. It's no longer broke. It is healed. Like so, like you can either just keep it how it is. It's fine. Like it's not going. Like it wasn't going to be a detriment. But my grandmother didn't want me to have this deformed hand. They said so. The only way to be able to fix it was to go in, re-break it, set it the way it's supposed to be set, and that's the reason why I got the scar on my hand was because of that. So like that really actually hit home a lot. And like when I started going to therapy, I didn't even know some of the things was fucking with me that was fucking with me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't even realize, because to us, we've normalized and we've become so desensitized to things that aren't fucking normal.
That are not normal.
But
you know what I'm saying?
In the black community, it's like, shit's normal to us. It is what it is. Right. But it's not. And until, I'm glad we're talking about this, and you, I gotta say, have been so instrumental in getting it out there and telling people, like, sharing your feelings. This is where I feel. This is where I'm at.
Right.
It's been awesome. And until we collectively realize that, that old way of thinking, which I can't fault too much, because there was a time, who the hell we were going to go to?
Right.
We had to go to a veterinarian just for medical care.
Right.
Who the hell were we going to talk to?
Right.
We didn't have that. So it just got generationally passed down. But
if we got caught talking about the bullshit, we were reprimanded. You know what I'm saying?
Reprimanded. We
were reprimanded like nah. You know what I'm saying? So like we never learned any type of proper coping method.
We didn't heal right.
And that's one of the reasons why I do enjoy doing this is because this is my coping method.
Right.
Like, motherfuckers get on me about how much alcohol I drink, but like, my nigga, I'm drinking not to quell the issue. I'm just drinking just so we can talk and just talk shit.
Okay.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what?
Like, I understand that, like, this alcohol is fucking my liver up. I understand this alcohol. Yeah, get more alcohol. You know what I'm saying? But, like, for me, it's like it's more a social drinking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't drink to drown my sorrows because I understand that sorrow is a very good swimmer.
It is.
You know what I'm
That was
saying?
an excellent quote. I'm taking that.
Nigga, I don't drink to drown my sorrows because sorrow will...
It's going to be there.
We'll swim through all of that shit.
Yes, it will.
Baywatch, David Hasselhoff.
Totally.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I drink to just relax, unwind.
You want more?
I just
Okay.
feel. Thank you. I appreciate it. But, like, my coping method is really talking about it. And just, like, my therapy, my pills are motherfuckers hitting my DMs and saying, TV, man, I go through the same shit. Man, I'm really glad that you talked about it.
Yes.
Because I'm dealing with that right now. My pills is when a friend of mine that I've known for years and we've had very intimate moments, and I ain't even talking sexually, I'm talking about intimate moments that we just really like talk. I've known for years, and then she just recently feels comfortable telling me, I attempted suicide and I never told you. And I'm like, why not? Because I didn't, exactly. But now, because I talk about it so much and I'm really addressing this shit, she feels comfortable opening up to me in that way. And we've had very intimate conversations.
Awesome. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? This is my therapy. These are my pills. I take pills off DMs of motherfuckers being like, yo, I go through the same shit. Those is my pills.
Can you go to school and be a therapist?
I mean, hey, I don't even want to go to school for it because
can you be a therapist?
I just want to be on my Umar Johnson shit.
Fuck it.
Because Umar he ain't supposed to be doing what he doing.
What
he just
else?
do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because we need it. We need so much help. And like you touched on before, I personally been in shit 20 years. I
Yeah.
can't think of one black male therapist.
We were just talking about
male
that.
Psychiatrist
That's
really.
crazy.
That shit is crazy.
That's crazy.
Who are our males? Who are our boys supposed to fucking talk to?
Right.
They have enough women.
We got like our therapists or our coaches.
That's it.
Seriously.
Our coaches.
Seriously, our coaches are our therapists. Like our football coach, our basketball
Yes.
coach, our AAU coach.
Mhm.
Those are our therapists because those are the only people that we feel comfortable talking to.
Right. Because you're not going to talk to your parents as a teenager. I got
It's
two
not happening.
boys. I got two of them. They're
Yeah.
going to talk to me, and I get it. And like I tell them, you don't have to talk to me. I understand. I don't
Right.
expect you to. I didn't talk to my mom.
Right.
Talk to whoever you want.
And exactly.
Just talk to somebody.
Eat-
And one has taken advantage of it. The other one, he's
Yeah. No,
going to pray for that
no
one.
Sandusky.
Yeah,
You
we're
know
gonna
what I'm
pray for that
saying?
one. But
No Sandusky.
It's good. We have black men in a position to
Yeah.
help our boys because who the hell else is helping them?
Yeah, without question. And like, it's so funny that you say that because like, I told you off camera before we started recording. When I went to therapy, the very first time it was with a white woman.
Right.
And no shot at her. She was great for me. She helped me a lot. No shot at her at all. I just did not connect with her.
Right,
It
of
wasn't.
course
It
not.
wasn't. It wasn't going where I needed it to go.
Right.
She helped me a lot. She opened me up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one that rebroke me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she helped me a lot, but I still felt like we're not getting where I need to get. I need to talk to a black man.
Absolutely.
So I recycled. I went through my little list of therapists that were through my insurance. I was looking for a black man. Could not find one. None of my, and I got good insurance. You know where I work. I ain't gonna talk about it on
Good
camera,
insurance.
but I got good insurance.
Yeah.
No black male therapist at all. So I found a black woman. And I sat down and I talked to her, and we got to talking. And I told her I looked for a black man. I couldn't find one. It was important for me to talk to somebody black. You know what I'm saying? And she told me that in her 20 years of doing this, she never had a black male patient. She never had a black male patient. She had black women. It was few and far between, but she never had a black man come and sit down and say, this is my issue. This is my problem. This is what I'm going through. And it's so crazy. Like, I'm talking to you about it. You've been in the field 20 years, and you sitting there like, do I know any black? And you don't know any.
No.
You've been in it 20 years.
I know black psychiatrists.
Right.
Shout out to the one that works at my job. I love him dearly. But just as far as just a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know any off the top of my head.
That's crazy.
And that's crazy.
Crazy. And shouts out to my homegirl Felicia. She back in Ohio. She was watching one of my lives with her son that's about to go to college. Good dude. Good look. Like I met him real good. And he's sitting there watching it and he's saying, you know what, I think I want to go into psychology. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like that's my pills. That's
awesome.
my
We
that's
need
my
us.
Adderall.
Yes.
Is hearing that type of shit.
We need us to help us. You know, and I'm in here to help us. I don't get many black clients where I work.
Right.
I don't, but I get some. And the ones I get, I do my damnedest to sit with in my office with the door closed, like, because, you know, I run the nursing department there. Mm-hmm. So I got a little more leeway, you know,
Right.
than my girls and my nurses. And most of my nurses are black. I got a couple that aren't, but most are. But, you know, I can sit there with them with the door closed, and we can talk about where you come from, what you need, down to the point where it's like, I've gone on my way to work, I've stopped at like CVS and Rite Aid and got a pick, like, because I got you a pick and here's some grease.
Right.
Because you're not going to get that here.
You're not, like.
Come in here and talk to me.
and that's that shit that, like, a black
things.
woman's going to understand, a black man, like those little nuances where somebody that, like, come from your same struggle is going to understand, where the most educated white person might not get it.
It's not going to get it because at this point, it's no longer clinical.
Right.
It's cultural.
Cultural, social, economic, like all that.
And we have that.
Do you watch This Is Us?
Yes.
Remember that episode where they was at the pool? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
These white parents are great parents. These are amazing parents. They really are. But the black woman had to say, like, look here, you do realize.
Let me break it down to you.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that was such a powerful episode. And for that white woman to finally, like, swallow her pride and be like, do you think you could? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a powerful episode because it's real. It don't matter, like, what good intentions you have, how non-racist you are.
You're just not from our struggle.
You just don't get it.
You don't get it, and you're never going to get it, and it's not a knock against you.
Not a knock.
Because guess what? I'm not going to get your life either.
I'm not.
So it's not so much a knock as it is. It's just the way things are.
Right.
It is what it is. You know, and that's what it has to be. But we need more of us in mental health. I do know black female therapists, a couple of them. Mm-hmm. But we need us. We need us because our community needs us.
And like, I'm gonna say this in open forum. I feel like I've said it before, but I don't know. But I'm gonna say, like the black woman really does lead the black race. Mm-hmm. And I'm a very dominant man. You know that. You know what I'm saying? But like,
I do know that.
The black woman, like, on some Black Panther shit, like, we really, like if you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, if you look at all these movements, they're all led by women.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, the majority of us in our era have been raised by women.
Yes.
Tupac, in my opinion, is the most influential artist of the last century.
Yes.
Maybe Elvis can be more influential. Maybe you could say Elvis.
No.
I'm going to say Tupac was
Tupac.
raised by a woman, and the woman gave him everything that he knew. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's really a point where the black women, they have to lead us to a place to where we start realizing, oh, damn, maybe because, like, men, we don't take hints.
Right.
We don't take obvious hints. We don't take subtle hints. We don't take
fucking no hints.
Directly sit in front of you. We don't take them. You know what I'm saying? Men, we got to finally, like, it's got to finally click for us to, you know what I mean? And so, like, it's good that black women are taking the reins because we really do, contrary to popular belief, we really do respect the shit out of our black women. You know what I'm saying?
We do. You do. But I think black women have given so much over such a long period of time to everyone.
Everyone.
Black,
because y'all
white,
had to raise all the white kids.
You know,
black women raised all the white children.
All the way. And I recently saw a video of this white kid who's skateboarding, who's trying to get this one trick. And there's a group of black women sitting there cheering him on. Don't know him from nobody.
Right.
Just happened to be on the street. He fucks up. Honey, get back up there and do it again. Do it again. Until he does it right. And then they clap for him. They love him. That's just black women in a nutshell.
That's
We're
black women
everybody's
nature.
mama.
Everybody's mama.
You know, but black women also, I've noticed, and I might get flack for this, black women have faltered a bit. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more out of just being sick and tired, though, of being sick and tired. We have given so much. We have loved so much. We have taken on so much. Who's our outlet? We take y'all's problems. We take white people problems. We take white kids' problems, our own kids' problems. We take everybody's problems. We have no outlet.
Right. So
now I think we're seeing a little bit of burnout in black women, and I understand it. You know, just a little bit of, just fucking, I'm done. I'm tired of this shit.
Right.
Black women need someone to talk to. Black men need somebody to talk to.
Right.
And we can't. Group therapy is awesome, but at the same time, we also need individual therapy. Black women need black women to talk to. Black men need black men to talk to. We all need some guidance.
Right.
Every single one of us can use some guidance. And that's why I'm like, please, black people, let's go into mental health. Let's get to talking. If you want to be a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, let's get in it.
Right.
We got to heal ourselves. We can't look to anybody else to heal us. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It's never going to happen. And they can't relate to us.
Mm-hmm.
And on a larger scale, it's kind of like the big pharma thing. There's no profit in us being healed.
But it'll be profit for us.
But not for
if
them.
You know what I'm saying?
It'll be profit
like,
for us. But
for
them, it's no profit.
It's two really, really, really powerful things that you just said, and I want to make sure I circle back on that. Because one thing that I was talking about with my homegirl that just passed is she was everybody else's crutch.
Right.
Like, when you're everybody else's crutch, who the fuck do you lean on when you need it? You know what I'm saying? Be like, your gift will be your curse. When you are so strong and you're so... Do you know what it is to be the responsible friend?
Yeah.
Because you always get... You don't want to get the 2 a.m. call, hey, my nigga, I'm you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you are everybody else's crutch, who the fuck do you lean on? You can't. It's not possible. You can't lean because you got everybody else leaned up against you. If you start leaning, nigga, everybody
gonna fall. And you can't have that because black women aren't conditioned to have that. You're the strong one. Big Mama.
Yeah.
Big Mama's our role model.
I understand.
Yes.
Yeah, and we got to start recognizing that. Mm-hmm. You got to start recognizing who the big, responsible, trustworthy friend is.
Yeah.
And you got to start going to that motherfucker like, what's going on with you?
You okay?
Do you know how many people have hit me up because like recently, finally, people are really giving me like, you know, normally it's like, hey, what's up, nigga? You good? Oh, okay, all right. Normally that's the conversation, but now motherfuckers is like, nah, like, yo, talk to me, you good? And like, you got to start recognizing that you need to really have that conversation with that particular female, that particular man. Like, it don't need to be a high and by. It don't need to be a, oh, you good? Oh, all right.
Okay, cool. High five it.
Yeah, it really needs to be a, hey, bro, like I seen that your father's birthday was a couple weeks ago, man. Like, I know that was a few years ago, but like, you dealing with it, man? Like, you all right? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's really talk. Like, let's have in-depth conversation. And you got to start recognizing even the person that's not posting about it and not talking about it. You got to start recognizing, like, you know what? I'm going to talk to this person because I know this is the person I always lean on.
Right.
Let me make sure they good.
Because we always think everybody's good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, cool. We
good. Because
but
one, we don't want to burden their problem. I mean, we don't want the burden of their problem because we got so many of our own shit going on. And for two, we just conditioned just to have that, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you good? Yeah, you good. Like, and we just move on. We got to get out of that.
I learned that hands-on the hard way a couple of years ago. I gave up nursing for a minute. I was over it. I've done a different.
It's very taxing.
It is, but I took on case management. And I was a case manager at a rehab in Costa Mesa, and this particular rehab was actually really big. People from Dr. Phil used to send us people around the country.
Dope.
And I worked with the men, and I was their case manager. I was outpatient case manager, which meant I put you in sober living. Right. I made sure you were cool, and I became your mother.
Right, but basically,
when you got kicked out of sober living for relapsing, you call me at 2 a.m.
Right.
And when you need this, you call me when you need that. And it was so draining. And I still have, guys that I still keep in touch with that I love with all my heart. And even after that, I'm Miss Krystal. I'm homeless. I need $100, babe. Here,
Right.
I need food, babe. Here. But it was so draining, and I gave it myself. Do you know how many times I've gotten out of bed at 1, 2, 3 in the morning and driven to Skid Row from San Pedro?
Right.
And walked the skid like, where the fuck are you? Let's go. You're getting in my car now.
Right. I believe it.
And I don't have a fear of it because to me, it's not how you sit with the great, it's how you walk with the broken.
Say it again.
So
Say it
I can
again.
walk the skid. It's not how you sit with the great, it's how you walk with the broken. I can walk the skid
Right.
at 2, 3 in the morning. I don't give a shit. I'm here. I know what I'm here for.
Because when you know what the fuck you here for, all that other shit you don't fear that.
I don't fear it.
It don't matter.
I love Skid Row. Actually,
Yeah.
I fit in more with the broken than with the unbroken. Those are my people, in my opinion.
My homegirl Shea Butter, man, like she be on Skid Row. And like I feel like I'm one of the champions of like identifying with the homeless, and she taught me so much. I'm like, damn, I don't know, like now.
Right? I don't know.
God damn, you know what I'm saying? She said she get their name, like she don't never like she get their name. She talk to them, she find out how they like, nigga. She really goes like heart to heart with a motherfucker. You know
I'll
what I'm
walk
saying?
in. I'll look for you. If you call me, I'm getting out of bed and I'm coming to find you. And I'll walk in. I don't care. And I'll go down there several times. I don't know. I'll have to post it, but I'm a coworker. We go down there. We feed. I'll hug you. I don't give a shit if you smell like pee.
Right.
I don't care.
And do you know how far that hug goes?
Hugs go. Human interaction goes so far.
Like, seriously.
If it was Krystal's world, everybody in prison would get a hug and a cookie at least 2 times a week.
Yeah.
Human interaction, just personal, goes so far. Of course, I know it's not feasible, but hugs and just the fact that, you know what?
Yeah.
You're a human being. I'm not afraid to touch you. I'm not repulsed by you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is.
And you don't scare me.
You don't scare me.
I'm not saying that to offend you.
Right.
I'm just letting you know, my nigga, like, you're not frightening to me. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
You want a cookie, my nigga?
You?
Don't act like you too tough for a cookie, nigga. You want a cookie?
People are so receptive
like,
to that.
seriously.
Motherfuckers are so
like,
receptive
nigga, I got these soft bags right here. What's good?
What's good?
Yeah, seriously.
I got you. What's
motherfuckers
good?
respond to that, too.
And I don't have a problem with it. I've pulled people off Skid Row more times than I can count. Let's go. I'm taking you here. I'm taking you to rehab. I'm taking you there. People need that. They need that love.
Yep.
They need that interaction. We could all take a page out of Mother Teresa's book.
Oh, yeah.
That's who I actually admire probably the most.
Mother Teresa, Gandhi. Some of the
Because you get down there and you love and you give to those who society has cast out.
Right.
People, it's got to be a fucked up feeling. And this is probably what drew me to mental health. It's got to be a horrible feeling for you to hear something or see something and it's real as fuck to you and everybody else tells you you're crazy. That's got to be a really bad feeling. But you know what you hear.
Right.
You know what you see. And nobody else hears it or sees it. And they tell you you're crazy. That's got to be a horrible feeling.
And it's beautiful that you say that because, like, one thing about me personally, I've always knew I was crazy, so I don't give a fuck what a nigga say. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was crazy. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm all right. I'm the product of Miles and Debbie. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I knew we was nuts. Like, yeah. That's one of the little running jokes me and my auntie and my older cousin got. Like, nigga, I came from Miles and Debbie. I'm still here. I've already won in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't mind being crazy. I don't mind being the weirdo. I don't mind having pink hair or a mohawk or drinking out of Star Wars cups or having my motherfucking Darth Vader slippers or I really don't. I don't care. I
don't care about being the outcast.
Nigga, who gives a fuck? Like, nigga, like and I feel like, yo, I already know I'm weird. I already know I'm crazy. So how do I move forward from this?
How do I move forward?
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I was a social outcast. I went to white private school, but I'm black. I was too black to be white. I was too white to be black, but I went to black church, right?
Exactly.
Listen, I learned to be comfortable with my skin. I am who the fuck I am. You either take me or you leave me.
You deal with it or not.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what? My Spotify has got NWA and Nirvana and
you know what I'm saying, right?
I'm singing both.
Like, what's happening? You know what I'm saying?
I don't give a fuck.
It's so funny you say that because, like, especially now that I live in Hollywood, I'm too Hollywood for Ohio, and I'm too Ohio for Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go home, I got a little man bag on or something. They looking at me like, who's this gay nigga? Like, all right, nigga, Leave your bitch around me then if I'm gay.
What?
See what happens. Nigga, fuck about. I tell niggas all the time, like, we cut from the same cloth. I just got a more expensive tailor than you.
Boom.
Like,
ooh, I like that.
Like, I tell niggas all the time.
That's what's
like,
up.
that nigga, don't try me with that bullshit.
Try me.
Like, nigga, we cut from the same cloth. I just got a more expensive tailor.
We cut from the same fucking cloth. Like, my mom was a single mom.
Yeah.
We had food stamps. I remember having breakfast for dinner and shit.
I would buy some food stamps today. Who got some food stamps to sell?
We'll talk about that after. Because I got some family. I got some family and I got mine, so she might have some more. But, yeah, like, don't even. Don't even.
Right.
But, you know, at the end of the day,
But that's a real
I
struggle,
love my
too.
people.
That's a real struggle, being too white for the black folk.
it's
Like, how am I white? Like, because I actually like using periods in my sentences, and I like to actually speak English. I'm too white for you, my
people
nigga?
didn't understand. In my house, with my mother, if you said ain't, if you spoke grammatically incorrect, there were no words.
Yeah.
You got what was it called? An open-handed slap to the
Yeah,
mouth?
get that.
You either got backhanded or open. You got hit in the
Yeah.
mouth. She didn't correct you. She just be like,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
and your mouth was swollen.
You know what
so
I'm saying?
after that, a couple times you learn, like, fuck it. I'm not trying to be swollen.
Right.
That's how I lived. My mom would just hit you. Bam. Now, what did you say?
Man, my
Damn,
grandmama hit
right.
me. My pops hit me. My uncle never did. My grandfather never did. But my grandfather definitely put the fear of God in me a couple times, just with his voice.
Right.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
dad voice.
What?
The dad voice is powerful. Men, I have to tell you,
Yeah.
I don't, a lot of men feel like, I'm sure, they don't matter, they're insignificant. Dads are powerful. The dad voice is powerful as shit.
And that's why that's another one of my popular topics I talk about a lot is like, yo, black fathers, y'all really got to be black fathers.
Man, you're needed. You're necessary. I witnessed the dad voice firsthand when his dad, when they were little.
Mm-hmm.
I could say things like, stop, blah, 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 do this, do that. Their dad say it one time.
One
And
time.
they do it, and I was like, fuck you. Fuck the horse you rode in on. This is my shit. This is my
Right.
house. How you going to come in here? I do everything.
Yeah.
You say one time and they
I'm
listen.
talking about the fear of God.
God.
And just speaking. Like,
Yes.
nigga, like, what the, all right, my bad.
The dad
Relax.
voice is powerful. Dads are needed. Dads are necessary. Black men are necessary
Yeah.
and needed. And our boys, because I'm a mom of 2 boys,
Mhm.
I'm all about boys. It's not that I don't like girls, but I don't like girls. I never had one. Whatever. They're extra. I was extra.
Hey,
They're
I
extra.
feel you.
I'm a boy mom.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to say it. I got a boy right now who is like a hot mess.
Yeah.
I got one that's awesome and one that's a hot mess. And he's actually with his dad right now. And let's hope it goes well. But dads are necessary and they're needed. Like,
Right.
you need that shit. So, black dads, do your thing. I support you.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that. Like, I'm a mama's boy. And, like, in order to be a mama's boy, you have to have a certain type of mama that you respect and love. Like, you know what I'm saying? My mother and my grandmother, they raised mama boys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, hey. But there's nothing wrong with that as long as you still can be a man. You know what I'm saying?
You're still a man. You're still,
Right.
absolutely, you're still a man, even if you're raised by women.
Without question.
You're still a man. They
But it is-
instilled something different in
Oh,
you.
without question. But it's the same. But like, can't nobody teach a black son to be a black man
No.
like a black father?
Like a black father.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
And
not.
I thank God to this day that I have my father. Because my father was a father in an era where being a father wasn't popular. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So
seriously.
that, my father was in an era. I remember my father, and I'm going to just say it, before my father went to rehab
Mhm.
and got his whole life together, my dad came home from Vietnam extremely fucked up. My dad came home from
That's
Vietnam
where
on
heroin
heroin.
got introduced. You
Came
know
home
what
on
I'm saying?
heroin,
Yeah.
and he came home on heroin, and then crack hit. So it was like both. I remember being like 6, 7 years old and sitting outside the dope house
Mhm.
and being like, "Dad, I'm hungry. I gotta pee.
Right.
Like, we've been here 4 or 5 hours. Can we go?" I remember growing up like this when I was on my dad's weekends. I got a lot of stories about
Man.
that shit. But my dad did do his shit, and my dad was on the skid and everything. Went away to a program. He still wrote me and everything. He was gone like I think like a year or 2.
Mhm.
Came back, and my dad's been awesome ever since. He got help, but it was in an era when I remember growing up, nobody had a dad.
Nobody.
We were all lived with our moms. I think I had one friend I know that was black that had a dad. Everybody else was our moms, and our moms would go out like on the weekend and do like girl night or whatever as we call it now, and get a babysitter for us. And our moms worked, you know what I'm saying, and we let ourselves in after school, or we went to our grandparents' house after school. And I don't remember growing up with anybody that was black that had a dad except for one person. And that's sad as shit.
No, it is. It is. I agree with that 100%. I can see like you starting to get emotional just talking about it. Like I understand that, and I realize that, and like it's real.
It's real.
And like I'm glad that we're in an era now where we can talk about it, and we can discuss it, and we have things like Facebook, we have things like this, like you know, podcast, like where we can like actually be open about it and talk about it. Because like in the era where we came up, if you felt how you felt, and your little one or two homies around you didn't feel the same way, you didn't have nobody to talk to.
You didn't have nobody. You just...
You know, like, social media and this, like, technology era has fucked up a whole lot of shit. But at the same time, there's a lot of shit now that, like, we can really... Like, you can have a support group of motherfuckers you ain't never met.
But have had the same experiences as you. Around the country, around the world.
Like, you can go be in a private Facebook group and just talk about your fucked up ass day.
Your fucked up ass day, your fucked up ass upbringing, your fucked up ass life. Because I like to say about us 80s kids born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, kids born in the 80s, grew up in the 80s.
Right.
We were unloved, in my opinion. We were the first generation to not have somebody waiting at home for us when we got out of school. Our parents had a motherfucker waiting for them.
Key under the mat or some shit, you know what I'm saying?
Key under the mat shit. We kind of, TV raised us a lot. You know, we didn't have, car seats?
Right.
We stood on that little hump between the two seats in the back, and no one cared about buckling us in or whatever. We didn't have to wear, you know, we could skateboard, we could bike, we could do all this shit without helmets. No one gave a shit.
Right.
We could ride in the back of trucks on the freeway. No one gave a shit. Dangerous things. You know, you slip and slide. You could just slip and slide on some concrete.
Right.
You get scratched.
Shake it off.
You look at that. My elbows are ashy right now. It's from this. I'm going to say it's from this.
Oh, shit. The wind just fucked my whole life up today.
Oh, man.
It's cool, though.
But you lick the blood away, or it mixes in with the water that everybody slides on. You're like, because you weren't going inside. And we see now the need for the appropriate combination of love and discipline.
Without question.
We see that need now, and it wasn't seen before. And, you know, you can perseverate on the fact that, I didn't have this and I didn't have that. It's not going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything.
It's not going to. You can talk about it, get it out.
Yeah, we got to move forward.
But you have to move forward.
Yeah, we got to embrace it and accept it, but we got to move forward and make sure that those that come behind us don't have to deal with the same shit.
And these kids have a whole new realm of shit to deal with. We didn't have kids shooting up the school. Man. I mean, we might get shot at home. We might get shot going to and from school. Right. But once we got to school, it was like, we good. We safe until 3:15.
Yeah, for the most part, if you got shot, you knew why you got shot.
You knew why.
Nowadays,
or it was like a drive-by and it was an accident. But now you get shot at school.
It's crazy.
You know, and my son goes to Sarah. He had an active shooter drill yesterday at school. Hilarious story because his class didn't know it was a drill. So he texted me like, Mom, my big ass went out a window. I almost busted my ass, but I was up out of there. I'm about a block away. And I was like, Adam, it was a drill. Go back to school. What are you doing? He was like, shit, the teacher came out too. He was like, we're going to treat it like it's real.
Right.
We all went out the window.
Fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
But the fact that our kids have to have active shooter drills is like...
How crazy is that?
How crazy is that?
Right.
How sad these children must be. And in my opinion, and I don't want to sound racist at all, white culture has backfired on them. It's not a matter of bullying, which I saw a meme on Instagram, and I wanted to share it. If it was a matter of bullying, then all the little girl that integrated Little Rock High School and Linda Brown versus Education.
She just passed away, rest in peace. Yeah.
If it was a matter of motherfuckers being bullied, That was the ultimate bullying right there.
She was getting spit on.
She was getting spit on. She was getting death threats.
Like as a child, like a little girl.
She didn't shoot shit at. Little Rock, the Little Rock, was it 8 or 7 or whatever? They didn't shoot shit at.
Right.
It's not a bullying thing. We grew up on a bullying culture, Revenge of the Nerds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We grew up. It's not that. Nobody's listening to these kids.
Nobody's listening.
They're hurting.
Right.
They have problems. They have problems at home. They have shit going on. No one's listening, and they feel like this is my only outlet, which is sad.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy.
If it was a bullying thing, our kids would have been shot some shit up.
Right.
We had every reason to. We didn't. But nobody's listening to these kids. Black, white, and you know, I hear a lot of stories of people 18. Like I said, you have to be 18 to come to my facility. I hear a shitload of stories. And it's
crazy.
sad.
That's crazy.
It's extremely sad. That
like I can only imagine what you hear. You know what I'm saying? And like it's so crazy too. Like I hear like some really crazy, and it's been more so here recently. Like now that I've been talking about it, like and I really like. It's gonna come across the wrong way, but I feel blessed to hear these horror stories.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds weird, but like I feel blessed that like these women and these men are comfortable enough to talk to me about shit that they don't talk to nobody else about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, thank you for one, because you opening up to me is therapy for me.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So like I really like it's crazy like hearing these stories of like women who are in their 30s, 40s years, you know what I'm saying, and they talking about when they was raped when they was in their teens. You know what I'm saying? Or like fellas that's in their 30s and 40s, they talking about like childhood friends they lost when they was, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm just so thankful that you're able to open up and talk about it and address it and realize that it did. Nigga, that was 20, 30 years ago and you still dealing with it today.
Impacted you.
You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so like, the number one thing I want to highlight in everything that we talked about is like, being able to understand that what you're going through and what you're feeling, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't feel like you're a weirdo for feeling what you're feeling or going through what you're going through. Don't feel like you're weak for going through what you're going through.
For having emotions.
You know what I'm saying?
For having human emotion.
To some fucked up shit.
Right.
Like, you went through some fucked up shit, and now you fucked up because of it. That's not weakness.
It's not weakness. It's not weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of our kids experience basically the equivalent of what soldiers experience in war.
Without question.
But they're grown-ass men and you're 9.
Right, without question.
10, 11, 12. So, you know, it's not fucked up. It's not weird. You have a right to your feelings. They're valid. I'm here, if nothing else, validating your feelings. Your shit is valid. You know, talk about it.
Right.
Get it out. Get help. Seek help. I understand medication. Big Pharma is fucked up. I get it. Seek some help. Seek some therapy. You may need some things you may need to take medication for. Gotcha. Some things are a chemical imbalance. Bipolar disorder is a chemical imbalance. You do need to take medication, but you also need the therapy.
Right.
It's a balance of both.
Right.
Some things, you know, schizophrenia, there's no cure. You know, you hear voices, you see things. I get it. You may need medication. 9 times out of 10, you do. But you also need to be able to talk, and you need to be able to express yourself, and that's what we've suppressed for so long. So long. Props to you for getting people to express themselves and for to be there as a sounding board for people, because we need it as a community, as a culture. And I am in Facebook jail, but you can hear me tomorrow. Right. I'm out of jail tomorrow. I'm be a good girl, I promise. I'm out of jail tomorrow.
She gonna be a bad girl.
I'm gonna be a good girl. But, you know, call me, 310-982-0313. I don't judge if you need to talk, because I understand the ramifications of not talking are so much greater than the ramifications of you hitting a complete stranger and just being like, look, I got molested at 6 and I'm still struggling with it. Right. I understand. I get it. Yeah. And they're done that. Like, talk.
Let's talk. Yeah.
Let's talk.
Now, before we're about to get up out of here, but before we do, what are some productive avenues of like somebody who's going through something, but they're not like really ready to like to have that conversation, but if they just want to like seek out some help on their own, what are some of the avenues of like do you know any websites or any particular things that you could suggest?
You, besides you and me, you know what? I would advise there happens to be a quote unquote anonymous for everything. Mm-hmm. Go to a meeting. Mm-hmm. Even if it's not substance abuse, they have meetings for everything. Right. Surround yourself with people that are going through the same things. If you are a codependent and you love an addict or an alcoholic and you find yourself being in a codependent situation, there's Al-Anon. You know, there are survivors, you know, groups for survivors. The internet is an amazing tool. It's a fucked up world out there.
Right.
But the internet's an amazing tool. Find yourself a group of people who are going through the same things you are, who aren't going to cast judgment, who you can just go. You don't have to share the first day you're there.
Right.
Go sit.
Just sit
go
there and
listen to other people's shit. It's
right.
anonymous. They're not going to bother you. Go sit and just listen. And I
have
guarantee
some coffee and donuts. You know
they do have that there.
Right.
Listen to other people's stories. You will eventually get to the point where you want to share. Just go. Listen, because you're not alone. And that's what I want people to know. You are not alone. If you're experiencing anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia, OCD, ADHD, no matter what it is.
If you don't even know what it is you're experiencing, if you
don't
even know what it is.
If you can't put a name on it, you're not alone in that.
Because that was me. I didn't even know what I just knew something was fucked up.
PTSD,
I didn't know what it was. Yeah,
you know, we all have PTSD to a point.
All of us. Google. If you can use your phone, if you can use your internet for social media, you can use it for this. Google it. Because the shit is
find
serious.
Support. Find help. Just go. You never have to open your mouth if you don't want to. I guarantee you will after a couple times of going. But until that point,
it's so therapeutic.
It is.
Oh my God.
It's so therapeutic to talk. I've had some people come in my office, and even though they have therapists, just sit and talk to me and just tell me shit that they may not want to tell their therapist and unload. Right. And it's therapeutic and it's helpful. And we need that help as a people. We're never going to progress and rise unless we heal ourselves. And we have to take that into our own hands, because if we don't heal ourselves, no one's going to heal us. We're not that important on the spectrum. That's
a fact. So we're going to get up out of here. I would say let's take a shot to go, but all the shot cups then blew off the table. You know what I'm saying?
We'll gather them up and take a shot, though.
Yeah, we definitely will. So, Krystal, I want to thank you for coming on my platform, talking about your experiences and talking about what's going on, because I feel like it's good to hear it.
Yes.
It's good to talk about it. And me personally, I'm just talking about it from what I feel. You're talking about it from experience.
Right.
So thank you very much for coming on my platform, sharing your 20 years of experience, sharing your motherhood experience, all of that. That's dope, man.
Anytime. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you even addressing the subject, because it's so not touched on. So for you to even not only address it for your personal life, but for, others, it's such a huge thing, and you don't know how much I respect you for that.
Thank you.
Salute to you. So thank you for having me. I would love to come back.
That's
what's
been
up. So much fun.
So much. We're going to toast the Star Wars cups, and we're going to get out of here.
I'm a Gito, she know, he know, the streets know, I get 'em by the kilo, Nino, if you need those, holler on a dealer. I'm a Gito, she know.